Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about a three-phase 480 motor starter, forward and reversing. And now we're going to talk about the controls for this as well. So we will be illustrating the fact of the start, like the stop button, will be in the backwards button, the forwards button, and the contacts thereof, and the coils as well for the contactors, which will be represented up here, which is KF1 and KF2. So forward would be KF2 and backwards would be KF1. Now we also have a disconnect, and I can throw the disconnect right here, and as you see, power is dispersed down to the actual contactors. Now again, when it comes down to the powering of this motor, right, we're going to run the motor forward and reverse, right? So you can see the motor is over here. I can control the torque of the motor basically just by simply doing that. Now what we'll do is we'll talk basically about the controls behind this, and what I want to do is actually get you familiar with obviously forward and reversing. So when we're running forward, let's just say, okay, so we already have our disconnect. So if our disconnect's off and we turn this on, it's not going to do anything, right? It doesn't matter, right? So it's not going to do anything because we have a contact on our disconnect going through our 120 volt system, our 120 volt circuit that's coming up here, going through the normally open set of contacts on the disconnect to make sure that the disconnect is closed first, right? So then we're going to close the disconnect. Then we have power going through our stop button. Now I can stop that by pressing the stop button, or I can come down here and allow the 120 volt circuit to go to my backwards button or my forward button. Now the forward button is if I basically just press it right here, you can see that the forward button, the motor starts running forward, and you can see it is running at a 1470 RPMs, again with the actual percentage of torque as I set it. So you see right now I can set the torque. Now keep in mind, this circuit, just by pressing the button, it comes in and latches in. What it does is it latches in basically the KF2 right here, which is KF2. It's saying it's closed, okay? And then if the button over here, which is the stop button, is not pressed, then which represents SF2. If that's not pressed, then it will stay latched in and keep that coil latched in. So the neutral on the back side is coming through into the A2 of the coil. Now A1 of the coil, again, is our circuitry going back to it. So if I were to hit this, either the stop button or the backwards button, then it will basically shut off the forward contactor. So I'll just briefly press the backwards button, and you see it unlatched. And why did it unlatch? Because when I have that coil, you see right here, when I have that coil pushed in, it unlatches. You see it throws the circuit over there and unlatches that circuit right here, which is normally closed, directly tied to that. Now currently it's running in the backwards direction, so we can easily see the same thing applies to the backwards direction, which I have the button on the other side of here, right? So I have the button, the forward button, which is SF1, and SF1 is right here. So it's a normally closed set of contacts that allows the latch to go in place. And again, the second part of that is that the contactor is pulled in. Now again, if I were to hit the stop button or the forward button, again, it would actually unlatch that. So if I just press this button, it unlatches the actual command for that to run that direction. Now with that said, that's because there's safety protections and contacts that run through the actual contactors up here that will allow and say, okay, well, if one contactor is pulled in, the other contactor cannot be pulled in. Now generally speaking, these are mechanically linked together so that there's 2 points of failure. There's a mechanical point of failure and an electrical point of failure. Okay, so this is why the circuit is done the way it is on the electronic side of it, so that we can make sure that everything works accordingly. So let's run it forward again. We'll latch that in, and I'll show you the use of the stop button. So if I hit the stop button, it stops as well, right? So again, you can see the power flowing through if I hit forward, and it's running the motor. And then if I hit the stop button, it drops power, it drops the contacts, it drops the latch. Now why does that happen? Again, because the stop button was pressed, so there is no longer any 120 volt circuit going through to that switch. So that means killing the actual, or opening or pressing the stop button, which opens the contacts, what stops the permission for the power to travel through, which is 120 volt power, to travel through that switch anymore. So it will no longer go to switch the backward switch or the forward switch, which is what we have. The flow of power is indicated by green right now. So again, if I were to throw the disconnect, you see the power does stop. So this is explaining, again, a quick explanation of a forward and reversing starter. When it comes down to it, this is some basic circuitry and understanding how that works. So we'll throw the disconnect back on, and then we'll come in and throw it forward. And also I want you to note too, the forward auxiliary contact I have down here, I have this in place just in case somebody were to try to start the backwards right here. This is a secondary for safety, meaning if the contactor KF2 is pulled in, there's an auxiliary set of contacts right here that open up that will not allow the circuit to actually turn on. Now that is another safety redundancy that is in place, although even though we have kind of double redundancy. If I push the button over here, so if the operator were to push the button on the start or the forward command, then or the forward button, then it would open up the circuit as well. On the same thing on the backwards, it would open up the circuit as well. But again, if it goes down to pushing the actual backwards button, it will go, the power will try to travel through here, but it will not, because of the simple fact of the auxiliary contact is being used. Counter to that, right here, if I were to run the backwards right here, latch that in, the same thing happens with the KF1. We have the auxiliary contacts on the back side of the latch circuit that double protects the system. So we have our circuitry behind it to protect it, which is our control circuit. We have that to protect the system. But like I say, that is not what I'm not showing here is the mechanical linkage that is generally in place when it comes to a forward and reversing starter. So just keep in mind, this is a 480 volt system, and I am showing you this running with obviously a disconnect. I don't have any overloads or anything like that, for the simple fact of this is just a simple illustration of how the circuitry mainly goes about, and how you would do the control side of things, right? So just think about this as a control aspect, the things you would put in place. Again, you can easily see the power flow and how that 120 circuit controls which direction it will turn on. So you see that right there. If I push the forward button, it pulls down the forward contactor, again latching in that circuit, coming in, making sure that when it latches on that circuit, it keeps the coil energized for the forward command. Same thing with the reversing or the backwards. So you can see this is a forward and reversing example, even though I'm calling it forward and backwards. So as far as that goes, again, it's just spreading knowledge and helping you understand the way a forward and reversing starter works. So hopefully that was a lot of valuable information, and I really do appreciate any feedback that you can give. So when it comes down to it, we are trying to help educate as much as possible. I'm going to hit the stop button real quick just so you kind of see the illustration. We'll throw the disconnect as well so that everything is completely safe. When it comes down to it, this is just a illustration of a simple example. There are many different ways to do this. Just keep in mind, this is one way to do this and accomplish this goal. So with that said, hopefully you learned a lot from this video, and we'll see you guys on the next one.